But like, I think my question is, why does a character need to have such a deep motivation, especially a side character? Like, their whole point is to add to the story and the development of the main character or the main characters. And so, like, you give them enough of a background, but you don't need to have a ton of motivation. Plus, these guys are all criminals, and you're not giving their whole backstory. They're literally just there for the one movie, like most all of them.
Right. So, for example, let's contrast in this movie the character of Marcus versus the other Continental characters, right? Clearly, he has a history with John Wick. Clearly, he really was good friends with John Wick, especially because he came to the funeral and was helping him to grieve over the loss of his wife, right? That's a character that I would say is much more developed as a side character compared to other characters in the movie. Now,
Yeah.
you didn't have a lot of scenes with Marcus. He doesn't have to show up a lot to show that there was a depth to his character, that he's more nuanced than just I'm here for money. Clearly, there's a
Mm-hmm.
friendship there, and that friendship has a span of time that goes into it. And that
Mm-hmm.
makes him a more compelling character as a side character compared to, let's just say, the assassin girl that tries to kill him, who's mediocre, or the bank teller guy, or all those other side characters that were there. The point being is that when you have these backgrounds, it provides nuance and complexity to the side characters. It doesn't take as much time. Now, the importance to that is because when you have these other motivations, it provides opportunity to bleed conflict into the story. So, when you have a character that just decides to go along with what's going on in the story, it doesn't exactly make them a compelling character. Case in point would be characters in Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, where you have all of the, let's just say, Jar Jar Binks, who is supposed to be his own character, but honestly, he just goes along with the Jedi because they say, oh, you need to do this, and he's a weak minded man. Now, I'd say he's one of the more compelling characters in Star Wars Episode 1, but even within that, he's not as compelling because he simply aligns himself with the main character's goals rather than having his own nuances and goals for doing things.
I think my question though is, I'm not defending this movie as being a great masterpiece, but
Sure.
I don't think it's a bad movie, so to speak. And so, like, yes, I think great movies have a ton of complexity to them, and
Sure.
there's so many elements in play that are really tied up nicely, and they work really, really well together. And you can tell
Yeah.
there's a lot of thought to it, and it also takes a lot of thought, and like you have to really watch the movie.
Yeah.
But like, there's really good movies. Like Star Wars Episode 4 has a really good plot to it. The characters, I think, at least the main characters, are well developed. I don't think I'd look at that movie though and use it as a blueprint for all great movies. I think a lot of the
No.
greatness of it comes from the nostalgia. But the whole point is like, you can have a decent or a good movie without having all the complexities of a great movie. And so
No.
like,
And I'd agree.
yeah. And
Like,
so with like John Wick side characters, I don't think they're the side characters of a great movie, but I think they're the side characters of a decent movie.
well, yeah, and so this is another point that I didn't give it the highest marks on, but it still got points from me. Everything
Mm-hmm.
so far in the movie has started off on a decent foot. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Like
By the way, I
I,
took your little quiz and I got 5.4, not 5.5.
you're
But